In this nitty-gritty Let's Play live stream, we're going to be playing American Mah Jongg at I Love Maj. This is the basics segment. So the information that I'm going to be sharing and the gameplay with commentary will be for fundamentals. So if you're new to the game, or if you're an intermediate player on a fast track to learning, this is the right place. Of course, everyone is welcome, regardless of the level of experience you have. I hope that what I share today will be helpful to you. I want to say thank you so much for watching my videos. Channel members, thank you for supporting MAHJLIFE. And moderators, thank you so much for helping moderate chat today. This is a nitty-gritty format, which means we're going to keep the socialization to a very limited amount, if any at all. So if you have any questions about what we're talking about today, write them in caps so that the moderators can catch them. If I miss them, they'll be there to help bring it to the forefront. With that, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and we'll get started with a very short presentation. We're actually going to toggle back and forth a little bit, at least for the first game, and then we'll do gameplay with commentary thereafter, covering all the bits and pieces for today's topic. Aloha. All right, let's see. I'm going to share my screen now. Today's topic is red flags. Red flags. So if I'm not sure if anyone is new here, write it in the chat, put new in caps if you're new to my channel. I cover many strategies or really tactics within one particular strategy. And that strategy is strategy by wall. I think that it is an amazing foundation for playing the game if you approach it with this in mind. And we're going to talk about it briefly. I do share an entire session with this as the topic, but we're just going to slice a little piece out called red flags and focus on that today. But there's a lot more that goes involved there's a lot more involved with strategy by wall overall. This is just a slice of it. So let's get started. A red flag is used as a warning of danger. Take heed or peace out. Just because something happens at the table, if you miss it, it's okay. If you decide not to take heed, that's okay too. Peace out and deal with the consequences, whatever they may be. So every player at the table has a prerogative to play the game as they like. But these are just going to be some red flags that could help you make the right decisions at the right time. And the right decisions is subjective, because Mahjong, really the tactics that you decide to execute are going to be situational. It just depends on what's happening at the table. And that's why these red flags are important. I want to share first that this concept of strategy by wall was introduced to the community by Tom Sloper of Sloperama. He is a game developer, professor. I'm not exactly sure what his subject matter, what he was a subject matter expert in, aside from Mahjong. But he knows game theory, and my assumption is that he either played chess or studied the game, and he used the begin, middle, and end game concepts and applied it to Mahjong. And that is where I first found him, and this particular strategy resonated with me. So I've made it my own by adding my own strategies and tactics to it, called Haptoy's Strategy by Wall. And if you don't already know, Haptoy is my avatar when I play online. It's kind of my alter ego, I guess you could say. So this is how strategy by wall works. When you sit at the table, you build the walls, and there are 4 double layer stacks of tiles in front of each player. Those are the walls of the game. The first wall is where the tiles are dealt. That would be the preliminaries. So before the game even gets started, that is the preliminary, dealing the tiles. Then everyone has their tiles, and you're typically going to be left with a short wall after East breaks the wall and the players get their tiles. Then there's a pregame. The pregame is the Charleston. This is when players pass tiles, unwanted tiles, amongst themselves up to 7 times. That's 21 tiles they can potentially use to help expedite hand development. That is the Charleston. And technically, if you don't know this, the game doesn't begin until East discards that first tile. That's why I'm calling this a pregame. This is a pregame accelerator so that you have that every opportunity to improve your dealt hand before East discards the tile and the game officially begins. Then when East discards that first tile, you are in the begin game. That is where you're going to be picking and discarding from that short wall. And what happens in this short wall can be very revealing, and we're going to be talking about that. The third wall is the middle game. This is when you're picking and discarding from the third wall. And then the fourth wall is the end game. While you're playing the game from the pre-game point, when you get your dealt hand, you need to use critical thinking skills. And this is one reason why most people are drawn to the game, because every deal, every hand that you start with is new, different thing. The game mechanics are the same, and the card is the same for a given year, and then it changes a little bit. So we get new flavors every year because of the release of the new card. But every hand in and of itself is a new journey. And that is where this critical thinking skills come in to help you perform at your best. In this critical thinking, the process it's like a 5-step cyclical process. You observe, then you assess, consider, make some kind of a decision, and then you execute whatever it is that you decided. And this happens pretty quickly. It's a natural process, but you can exercise it and build this skill. Observe, assess, consider, decide, execute. That is the process of critical thinking. And if you can learn how to exercise this skill, you are going to see improvement in your performance or your results at the table. We're going to first talk about the pre-game. So this is the Charleston. This is when we're passing tiles. These are the red flags that you're going to want to watch for. The first one is opponents passing blind. If anybody passes blind, one of two things could be happening. Either they don't know what they're doing, they're in between hands and can't decide. That would be the don't know what they're doing yet. Okay, it's a temporary thing, hopefully. So they're in between hands, in between categories, who knows? But they just can't make a decision. People might pass blind. The other potential situation is that they have a well-developed hand. So that would be a red flag if they have a well-developed plan or hand. So if someone is passing blind, we need to assume that. We don't want to assume that they don't know what they're doing, because that would be, we could end up hurting ourselves in that case. We should assume that they probably have a well-developed hand, and then we can use that information to help us gauge our own potential to win and decide if we want to play a heightened defensive game because of someone passing blind. The next red flag is someone stops the Charleston, especially if it's the same player who passed blind. Now, the same disclaimer here is when someone stops the Charleston, their reasoning could be that they are in between categories, in between hands, or they have a well-developed hand. We need to assume that they have a well-developed hand. And incidentally, when someone stops the Charleston, or even when someone passes blind, there should be no questions asked at the table. It is the prerogative of every player to take advantage of these options. And there's no rule that you need to have 3 tiles in order to, or let's say some groups I've heard, for example, say that you need to have less than 3 tiles in order to stop the Charleston as a house rule. But first of all, how would they know? You're still on your honor. But the bottom line is, it's your prerogative. You can stop the Charleston if you want to, and you can pass blind if you want to. First left, last right. That's for passing blind. Stopping the Charleston is after the first left. And you can do that. You can take advantage of those options. They're there for a reason. The reasons that you don't have to give, there are several reasons why you would want to do that. And there's a whole other segment that we do on Nitty-Gritty Basics called Exercising Charleston Options. So look for that in the skills and strategies matrix. You'll see a link to a video on the last time we talked about exercising Charleston options, and we go into it at a very deep level so that you can see and decide what to do when, if we want to leverage those options. So the next red flag would be an opponent negotiating low. And what that means is, in the optional cross, you can negotiate up to 3 tiles to pass with your opponent. If somebody negotiates low, they either don't know what they're doing, i.e. they're in between categories or hands, and they're not ready to make a decision, or they have a well-developed hand. And again, we need to assume that they have a well-developed hand. I think that's my opinion. Assume that they have a well-developed hand. That would be playing at the, well, I don't know if lowest common denominator would be the right term, but basically you would be assessing the greatest risk and making a decision based on that level of risk. Assuming that someone has a well-developed hand, you're going to want to approach the game wisely. You want to be shrewd with your decision making, and as you develop your own hand, decide whether or not you want to play to win or heighten your defense and fold and try to end the game with a draw. So in the pregame, this is where you just want to monitor how your opponents are responding based on their hand development. And these are 3 red flags. All right, next, we're going to play at I Love Maj, and we're going to look at the remaining tiles as an indicator of the begin, middle, and end game, because I want to come back to this presentation for each wall. So we're going to go to I Love Maj, and we are going to start a game with robots, and we'll play through the Charleston, and we're going to monitor for red flags, and then we'll come back to the presentation. So let me stop sharing, and then I will go to I Love Maj. Here it is. Okay, I Love Maj. Can everybody hear me? Give me a yes if you can hear me, please. Or let me just test myself. Test? Okay, yes. Okay, good. All right, so here's I Love Maj, and we're going to play with robots because we want to play a whole game. We're using that strategy by wall, and we're looking at red flags. So we're going to start out by playing with robots. I just want to point out that they have some great exercises here. So if you want to do Charleston modeling, or maybe build a hand, make a hand is what they call it, these are some great activities that you can do at I Love Maj. And if you've not tried it before, you can get a 3-week trial by using MAHJLIFE when you sign up. I am an affiliate member, so I will get a small commission if you decide to keep going with a paid subscription. And I appreciate the support. All right, let's play with robots. We're going to do the intermediate level. And I'm not going to be open to live games. That would be where you get an invitation. Okay, so here we go. Are we ready? Oh, you know what? I need to reshare. I need to reshare my screen. Actually, I'm going to share a window. Let's see if this works better. Okay, so here we go. Start. This is the first Charleston. So we have a Joker West, red, a green, red, and white dragon, 2 4 bams, 1 2 4 5 8 in cracks, and a pair of ones. In my opinion, when you first get your dealt hand, if you have a multiple, that should be your starting point. It's like a start here on a map. You start with the multiple. So whatever we do, we're going to use the 1 dot pair, because American Mah Jongg is a game of multiples. Every hand on the cards uses pair pung kong of some shape and pattern. So eventually we need them. So we're going to start with them. With a 1 dot pair, I would probably keep the little numbers. So I would keep the 2 4 and the 1 2. Maybe even the 4, maybe even the 5, because if we get 3s, we might be able to play little odds. So little odds, or maybe consecutive run with little numbers. And we have tiles we can pass. Since we don't have any flowers, I would not consider playing like numbers with 1s and all these dragons. I would probably give up a dragon. So I would probably pass these 3 to start. Okay, now when I click pass, we need to get used to watching the robots, these robots, and they pass super quick. So it's going to be challenging to see, for example, who passes blind and who stops the Charleston, but we're going to try to watch for it. So when we get to the first left, hopefully I'll remember to pause. So here we go. We're going to pass. And we have a second multiple of 4 crack pair. So we have a 1 dot pair and a 4 crack pair. So I would just keep gathering. We still have tiles we can pass. And I would break up the east and the west. Since we have 2 wins here, I would not pass this. I think that's very risky. It's almost as risky as passing like numbers. So I would not recommend passing 2 wins together. Even passing a wind and a dragon is a little bit risky. So instead of doing that, I would let something go. So since we have a pair of 4s, I probably would let the 1 go. Let the 1 crack go. Let's see, maybe instead we keep the 1 crack and let the 2 bam go. Because if we get a 3 crack, we could maybe play 1 through 5 in 1 suit and let the 1 dots go. What I'm hoping is that we get a 2 dot and a 3 crack, so we can use both the 1 dot and the 4 crack. But it's pretty unlikely. I will be shocked if we get it. So this is our cross pass. We've got a 3 bam, 5 bam, and a west. All right, now here we're passing to the left. This is where someone could pass blind. And I'm not sure if we're going to be able to detect if these robots are passing blind or not. We might need to use a different platform if we're not able to see who passes blind. So let's find out. We're going to pass the west and a 7, and now we need to make a choice. We need to let something go. So we have a 1 dot pair. We could maybe let that go, the white dragon. It's a little bit risky with a west with a dragon and a 7 dot with a dragon, but we need to focus on our own hand development as the top priority. So let's pass. Okay, now it says here 3 tiles passed. They each say 3 tiles passed. Do you see that right there? Underneath there, everybody passed 3. So there are no red flags here. We have a new multiple, 5 crack pair. We have 2 discards, clear discards. We clearly don't need a west or an 8 dot. So if we continue the Charleston, and we will, because we're in between. You don't want to stop the Charleston if you're in between. You want to let something go and focus on the strongest option. So we do have a hand in here with no gaps, 4, 5, 4, 5. And that's probably what I would focus on. 4, 5, 4, 5 would be the 6th hand down under consecutive run. Pung Kong, 4, 5, 4, 5. So what I would probably let go of would be either the 1 dot or the 3 bam. I think I would let the 1 dot go at this point and focus on the 4, 5 consecutive pairs. So let's pass. We're going to continue. And everybody wants to keep going. So no red flags there. We're going to pass that west. We didn't get any keepers really. We have a 4, 5, 6 in here. 4, 5, 4, 5 still looks pretty good. We did pick up a 1 bam, and we do have a 1, 3, 5 in here, but we want to leverage the 4 crack pair and that 5 crack. So we're going to play something consecutive. So in this case, I would probably actually let's put that back. I would let the 6 bam go with a 1 dot and the east and focus on 4, 5, 4, 5 probably. Okay, so we have a 2 bam. Here's a 2 dot. We have a 1 crack. So we have 1 clear discard. Otherwise, we have all 1 through 5. In mixed suits, that's a pretty long range. Typically, in mixed suits, you want 4 numbers. And with where our multiples are, really 3 or 4 numbers in a range is what we want to focus on. A 5 number range in mixed suits, there's only 1 hand. That's the 4th hand down. And the only way we can make that work is if we had more dots. We would need, for example, 1, 2, 3 and bams. We could do 4 crack with a 5 dot. We don't have a 5 dot. We could do maybe 1, 2, 3 and bams with a 4 dot and a 5 crack, but we'd have to throw away the 4 crack. So the reason why I go through that process of elimination is to free up a discard. We need to free up 2 discards in this case. So probably what I would do is let the 1 bam go and then probably the 2 dot, because with the, let me just put the 7 dot there. With this joker, we could fill a gap and play 1 through 5 in 1 suit. Leverage the 4, 5 pairs, consecutive pairs. We could also maybe do 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3 bam, 4, 5 crack. We could also, I'm going to leave that there for a minute. We could also maybe do 4, 5, 4, 5. So that is the process that I go through in my head. I give myself maybe 2 or 3 options to free up discards. So we're going to let these 3 go. Now let's find out if anybody passes blind in the last right. Everybody passed 3. So still no red flags. And we ended up with 3 discards. You might think, well, why not keep that red dragon? Because you have the 4, 5. We have a gap, no flowers. I would rather pass fully and keep these optional tiles. All these tiles to the left of the joker are useful to us. The ones to the right, unless we had a flower, then we could maybe use that red dragon. But since we don't have a flower, we're going to let it go. So we're going to pass 3. Now what we want to look for here is a low negotiation. Now I don't think that we're going to see who negotiated low. I don't recall seeing an indicator of who negotiated low, which is good information, by the way, and a red flag. All right, so let's pass. So yeah, we do not get to know who passed or who negotiated low. Okay, now here we have a keeper, 4-bam, 4-5-4-5, and that's what I would focus on. 4-5-4-5, 6 hand down. So that means that we have this 3 will go. We have 6 discards and a hand with no gaps. So we're going to be an underdog. We're the dealer, so really we have 5 discards, which is still high. All right, now we're going to go back to the presentation because now we're going into the begin game. This is when you have the short wall in where East discards the first tile. So I'm going to go back to the presentation. Here. Okay. So we're going to look at the red flags for the begin game. This is when you have a short wall. In the begin game, what you want to watch for is anybody who makes an exposure when that short wall is in play. That is going to be a potential indicator of someone who has a very well-developed hand. Now, if they don't have a well-developed hand, and either way, really, they're going to be committing early, and that could end up biting them on the backside later. So be mindful of any exposures in that short wall. That would be a red flag. The next red flag would be an opponent who discards a joker, because that would indicate that they're most likely playing a pair hand in that singles and pairs category, big hand. If someone is playing a big hand on the card and discarding a joker in the begin game or even the middle game could be an indicator of that happening, and you want to have a heightened awareness and also heightened defense because you don't want to pay into a big hand. So those would be the red flags in this part of the game. Early exposure, begin game exposure, basically, and then anyone discarding a joker. So let's get back to the game. I'll stop sharing, or I'll present the other screen. Okay, here we go. Now, we want to go down to 80 tiles. So basically, the first 4 picks out of the wall, that would typically be the begin game. So we're going to do 4 picks, and then we're going to go back to the presentation because at that point, we're going to be in the third wall. So here we go. We're going to discard the 6-bam. Let me go up here. All right. Okay, we got a white dragon, red dragon. Oh, early discard of a flower. That's kind of surprising. Okay, we got a 6-bam. That's not a keeper for us. Okay, we're good there. Now, incidentally, for our own hand, we can call for the 4 crack, the 4-bam, and we could even Kong the 5 crack. We just need a little help with our 5-bam. So if any of those tiles go down, I would call. All right, so this is the second round of discards now. You can see 4 discards are out. So now here's the second round. We don't need big numbers. We're good there. Don't need 2-bam. We can escalate that as a discard now. So now somebody kept the 1-bam and the 1 crack. I think we should discard the 1-bam. And I think we should discard the other ones here. Okay, we have 2 more picks for the begin game. We're going to ignore that. It seems that nobody wants any of these little numbers, so we'll just hold them and discard the 9 dot. Okay, we're at 82 tiles. We'll wait for our turn. Okay, so we have a 2 dot. So these are all discards right here. So we're going to now go back to the presentation and look at the middle game red flags, because this now is 80 tiles, 80 to 50 tiles remaining is the middle game. That's the third wall. So we're going to go back to the presentation now. And we're going to talk about red flags in the middle game. Third wall's in play. This is when you want to notice if exposures are made. That would be an indicator that someone has enough hand development to commit to a hand. Now, with one exposure, you're not committing too deeply. You are committing somewhat. It's like the first level of commitment. A second exposure, and every exposure after the first further commits someone to a particular hand. So you want to watch during the middle game, you want to watch for people making exposures. Early in this middle game would be a red flag because they're basically expediting hand development. The other thing that you want to notice here is post-exposure discards. They're going to have greater meaning the further you get into the third wall, because the first 4 or 5 discards are typically unwanted tiles, useless tiles, but that has given them at least 4 picks from the wall, and they're likely gathering keepers. So in the middle game, this is when you're going to start seeing whittled keepers, or tiles that maybe they were considering using, but that they've let go to help them develop a particular category or hand. So when someone makes an exposure, typically the discard right after can have some meaning. You just got to really watch what is being discarded to make sure that you interpret it correctly. The other red flag is if someone discards a joker. And again, that could be indicating that they're playing a pair hand, but it could also indicate that they're ready to win on a pair tile or a single tile. So if someone discards a joker in the middle game, maybe they're trying for a pure hand, which means that they're playing a high point hand. And all those things you should take into account as far as whether you're going to play to win yourself, or if you want to try to expedite a quicker hand. For example, maybe you're playing a big hand or a concealed hand. If someone's putting out multiple exposures or discarding a joker, you might decide, I think I'm going to expedite and pick an easier hand to play to win before then. So those are some of the things that you might want to think about during this phase of the game. These are the 2 red flags. Someone making exposures in the early part of the middle game especially, and anyone discarding jokers. Okay, we're going to jump back to I Love Maj, because we love Maj. All right, so 79 tiles remaining. You see that right here. We're going to go down to 50. Let's see, it would be 49 tiles. No, wait. 40 tiles remaining is the end game. So we want to go all the way to just up to that point. So 49 tiles remaining, 40 tiles remaining. So at that 39, I'm sorry, I'm thinking opposite, 59 tiles. That's where you want to really, even before then, two picks from that point. So maybe at around, let's say 70 tiles. Let's see, we're at 79. So it would be around 50 tiles. 50 tiles. That's about where you want to start thinking about setting yourself up for gameplay in the end game, like having safe discards. So right now, we're going to try to develop our hand, and we're going to watch for those red flags. So we need to discard. And we have all these tiles have been discarded except for the 3-man. So let's hold that for a little bit. Maybe we'll get a joker opportunity there. in an exchange opportunity. So let's discard this 1 dot. Okay, 2 dot should be safe later. We're good there. We're looking for 4s. The 6 band is already out. Okay. We got a joker. That's helpful. Okay, so let's discard the 1 crack. We don't need east. We have 70 tiles remaining. We're good there. South was just thrown. So far, no red flags. Nobody has exposures yet. Okay, now we have 1 more pick, and we'll be right in the middle of the game. 60 tiles is in the very middle of the game. The middle of the middle wall is 60 tiles. Okay, now here we can Kong, and I would. So we're going to call, and we're going to Kong. Now we're going to discard the 3 band. We are exposing a Kong with 2 jokers, but because we have a hand with no gaps and 4 multiples, I think the risk is worth it. So it's okay if we lose these jokers because we're 1 away from set. We can Kong the 4 crack, Kong the 4 band. We need 1 good pick for that 5 crack, and we'll be set to go. I'm hoping we'll draw a 5 band. Okay, so I don't think anybody wants 2s, so we'll discard this 6 crack. We're at 56 tiles. Okay, now there's an exposure, pure Kong in front of us, 6 crack Kong. So they're playing to win, or they wouldn't expose. We're going to ignore. Okay, 2 crack has been discarded. So I don't think anybody wants that. Let's go ahead and let it go. So we're down to 50 tiles now. We'll let it go. Oh, we don't want to hold the white dragon. We're good there. Okay, we have 47 tiles remaining. We don't want north. So we have one more pick in the middle game.
6 dots. Call 7.
So there's another exposure in the late middle game. All right, so this is our turn. We're going to probably discard that 1 crack. So now at 41 tiles left, we're going to be heading into the end game now. So let's look at the red flags for the end game. In the end game, when you're at 40 tiles remaining or less, you want to watch for opponents making exposures because they are going to be most likely playing to win. If somebody is unable to win, there are 2 schools of thoughts. One is to call discards to make exposures in order to use up tiles so that nobody else can use them. That would be one way to approach playing in the end game. If you fold, if you decide that you don't want to play to win, you can claim discards to make exposures to use up tiles. Personally, I don't agree with that strategy or that tactic because it gives away information that can be used by your opponents. I prefer to stay concealed if I'm not going to be furthering my own hand development. If I decide to fold and heighten my defense and discard so as to end in a draw, that would be folding in Mahjong. If I decide to fold, I'm not going to be calling discards. So usually anyone who's making an exposure in the end game is playing to win. And typically you can figure that out based on body language, which we're not going to go into right now. I have other videos that talk about situational awareness and social intelligence, and that's where body language comes in, which we don't get to see when we play online. Okay, so the first red flag, opponents making exposures during the end game. The second piece that you want to remember here is that post-exposure discard. This is when those discards have the greatest meaning, because especially if they're making an exposure in the end game, they're likely playing to win. And at that point, they probably have all keepers or all tiles that could potentially be used. So each discard, especially after an exposure, is going to have greater meaning the deeper we get into this wall. So watch what people discard after making an exposure and use that to figure out what hand they're playing. Also, if opponents are discarding jokers, they're either they've folded and they're trying to discard defensively, or it could be an indicator that they're trying for a jokerless hand. So be mindful of that. And those are the two big red flags. Exposures, but be mindful of the post-exposure discard, and then jokers that are being discarded. Either people have folded or maybe they're waiting on a pair or something like that. All right, so now we're going to jump back to I Love Maj, and then we're going to stay in the game and finish out with gameplay with commentary. After this game, we'll start a new game, and just remember all those red flags, and we'll talk through that as they come up. Okay, so now we need to discard. So let's discard this one crack. I'm still hoping we draw our 5 bam. A 2 dot. We don't want to hold on to 2s really. We have people with 6s in front of us. So they could be doing 2, 4, 6, 8. They could be doing 3, 6, 9. They could be doing something with 4, 5, 6, 4, 5, 6, or maybe 5, 6, 7 consecutive run. We don't see any 5s out except for our exposure. So my guess is these people are playing either 3, 6, 9 or 4, 5, 6, 5, 6, 7, something like that. Let's find out. Nobody wanted the 3. Seems nobody wants 3s and 9s. 3 crack can go. So I'll bet these players have 4s and 5s, which is what we're trying to do here. We don't want flowers. There's 5 consecutive Kongs. So they're probably going to need either a 7 bam or a 4 bam for 5, 6, 7 mixed suit Kongs. There are 2 7 bams out. So my guess, 3 7 bams. My guess is our opponent across from us has 4 bams. Okay, so someone took one of our jokers. Okay, now it doesn't appear that anyone is playing wins. So let's just keep the win for a safe discard. Oh, I'm surprised there's a 2 dot there. They must have just gotten the jokers because we've thrown 2 dots before. All right, so there's a 4 crack. That's a call for us for a pung. There, we can call that too for a pung. Now we need one good pick for our 5 crack. There are 2 jokers up for grabs, 2 dot and 5 bam. 20 tiles remaining. That's 4 picks. 4 picks. We want that 5 bam. 7 bam is out. Now we have 4 picks. Yeah, it was just thrown. Okay, now there was a joker discarded. That's a red flag. That at this stage of the game, I would say someone is switched to defense. Someone's folded based on this late game with a joker. That's my guess. Okay, 9 crack. I don't remember seeing 9 cracks out. But there are a lot of 3 cracks out. 9 dots are out. 9 bams are out. If we're going to play to win, we have 2 more picks and 2 discards. I think this 9 crack with a 6 bam or 6 dot pung, they could use this 9 crack. Although, let's see, count how many 3 bams are out first. Because if they're playing that third hand down under 3, 6, 9, they could be ready to win on a 9 crack. Here's 3 bam, 3 bam. There are 3 bams out. So there's no way they can complete that third hand down with what they have exposed. Now they could be playing 3, 6, 9 first hand, but they wouldn't need a 9 crack. So let's discard this 9 crack. Oh darn, they're playing 6, 7, 8, 9. Winner here. That was my bad. We have 1 discard. I think I probably would have still played to win. They had 1 exposure. Okay, so we're going to go again. We got pretty close there.
First Charleston.
All right, let's see what we have. We have a pair of flowers. Those would be keepers. And we have a 4 bam pair. So whatever we do, we're going to use flowers and 4s. So let's keep this 4, maybe the 3s. We can keep the 4s and the 3s. And then we can pass these 3. That is a little bit risky though. 3, 4. We have a lot of 3, 4 in here. Oh, let me go up here. Okay, so 3, 4 with the flowers. If we put a 3 in here, it's going to be just as risky or even more risky. Let's pass these. Okay, so we have a 2, 3, 4 now. We have 2 good tiles for sure. I would probably let the 2 dot go. Although we do have a hand in here, 2, 3, 4 mixed suit Kongs, 2 dot 3 crack 4 bam. Let's let this 3 dot go. Okay, so we have a 3 crack. That's a keeper. We have another multiple in there. And we have 3 tiles we can pass. So everybody passed blind. No red flags there. We got a keeper. And at this point, I probably would focus on 2, 3, 4 mixed suit Kongs because we have no gaps. And I would keep going.
Second.
So nobody stopped the Charleston. No red flags there. Let's throw the 3 and the 8. Okay, no red flags there, apparently. Let's actually let the 4 crack go. Okay, let's see. We have a 5 crack. Excuse me. Let's see. Let's let the 1, 7 with a 6 go, I guess. That's a little bit risky. But we have a hand with no gaps. Let's keep going.
Courtesy pass.
Okay, now here we have a 5 dot. So now we have an option with the dot suit. We can do 2, 3, 4, or we can do 3, 4, 5. So this will be a little bit risky to pass, but I think we're far enough along with our hand development that we can risk it.
So
we didn't get any keepers. We have 3 discards and a hand with no gaps and an option. I would say we're probably a contender on this one.
flowers.
So what we want to watch for are early game exposures, begin game exposures.
East. 8 crack. So
Okay, so let's let the 9 dot go. Now a 3 crack or, okay, now here's a red flag in the begin game. There are 90 tiles remaining. We had 2 picks and somebody made an exposure, a pung 8 bams. So we probably want to let these BAMs go, like the 9 especially. So they called it. So they're really expediting at the moment. That would be a red flag. We don't want to hold east. We want to let the 7 BAM go right away. If they're playing 6, 7, 8, 9 Pung Kong, they're going to want that.
7
Okay, we got a keeper. The 5 dot, 3, 4, 5 mixed suit Kongs. 5th hand down on the right.
6 BAM.
Looks like nobody wants the white dragon.
2 dot.
Okay, they didn't take the 6 BAM. They have an 8 BAM, 9 BAM, Pung Kong. They could be playing a mixed suit option. So it would be 6, 7 in dots or cracks. We don't have any of those, so we're okay at the moment. There's a 7 that we want to let go of now.
7 5.
Because if they're playing a mixed suit option, we don't want to hold on to those tiles.
9 dot. Red.
So whatever they play at the moment, if they're in dots, they're okay at the moment. But if they're holding cracks, they're going to need jokers. 8, 8, 9, 8, 9. Yeah, they could 8, 9, 8, 9 in cracks. Yeah, that's good, Karen. I agree. Okay, we got a flower, but we really don't need that unless we switch to a quint. If we want to use a Kong of flowers, we could maybe play the 3rd quint. Okay, this will be telling. They didn't take it. It's out. Okay, there's a Pung of 6 dots again. All right, now I wouldn't take this, not without more jokers, so we're going to let it go. We're going to swap out this 2 dot next because we don't know what they're doing with 2 BAMs. Oh, we're in the middle game, by the way, 59 tiles. We don't want to hold a 6 crack. All right, so now we know what they're doing. They want 7 cracks, and they're going to need 3 jokers. They're going to need 3 jokers to win that hand. Let's let the dragon go. Okay, now there's a flower. I would probably switch to a quint here if this were me. Because now we have a Kong of flowers. We could quint the 4. We're going into the end game in 2 picks. What is the likelihood of us drawing more jokers in the end game? I would say slim. So I would call that for a Kong and let the flowers go. It seems nobody wants flowers. We got a joker. And now we're set on Konging. So we can Kong both of our blocks now and we have our pair. And we're still in the middle game. We're good. Okay, 5 crack. They need a 7 crack over here. We don't know what they're doing on the right. We don't know what's going on in front of us either. Oh, they got jokers. All right, well, good for them. So we have 1 away again. We are ready to Kong our tiles. So they are playing some kind of 2, 4, 6, 8 gap hand across from us and a 3, 6, 9 hand to the right. All right, so let's play again. We have this time winds. We have a pair of east and a south. So we also have some year tiles in here. So let's see if we can maybe try for a year hand. or maybe something with wins. Let's see. I suppose we could keep the 5 for little odds. Let's leave the pass like this. 1, 8, 9. That's not bad. Okay, so here's a 3 and a 5. And we have a pair of 6s. I would totally reassess. So I would start with the 6 crack. So with 6 crack, east, south, pair east, I would probably focus on 3, 6, 9 here. 3, 6, 9. So I would let the 2 go, and I'd probably break up the wins and focus on number tiles. Okay, here's a 6. Break up the wins. Let's say 5 and a 2. So we're looking at 3, 6, 9 hand. We can definitely keep going. We do have some consecutive tiles in here now, 5, 6, 7. But we have like numbers with 1s, so I'd probably let one of these go, probably the 7. There's a 3. East, 1, 8. Those should be good and safe for discards. This 5 crack probably can go. 1, 5 though in 1 suit is pretty risky. So we're going to swap out that 1 crack for the 1 bam, because sending a 1, 5 is not too bad in different suits. Okay, we have a 9 bam. That's in our category, and we have tiles we can pass. Okay, everybody pass blind. No red flags. We've got like numbers right there. 3, 6, 9. Oh, not like numbers. I didn't mean that. 3, 6, 9. We have 2 clear discards. And we have a couple of hands that we could potentially play. I think what I would do, let's see, we have 3, 9, 6 crack pair, 3s paired up. I'd probably focus on the 5th hand down. 5th hand down, but I think I would still, maybe we can let the 9 go. Let's see here. We could maybe play the concealed hand though. Let's pass 2. So we are negotiating low. That would be a red flag. But it's primarily because we're in between hands. We want to optimize our potential or maximize our potential with our tiles in our hand. But I'm thinking the 5th hand down. Okay, we can let things go here. We're probably going to hope for a pung there eventually. 3, 6, 9, single pair pung, kongs of 3s. So no exposures yet. Not ready to call anything. That can be a discard. I would not call that. We don't know what hand we're playing yet. And we might even go concealed. The concealed hand. So we're going to just let it go. Okay, so there's a joker. So I think I would let the 9 bams go at this point and focus on 3, 6, 9, single pair pung, kong, kong. We have 4 discards, including joker bait, although there's a 9 bam out. So I don't think that's going to be good joker bait anyhow. Okay, now there's a couple of jokers up for grabs. And we're now at 80 tiles. So we're going into the middle game. They have an exposure with jokers. If that were a human, I would say that they're playing assertively. So they're playing to expedite a hand because they're willing to risk these jokers. To me, that means they have a good build going. So somebody got the joker already. 8 bam. Well, we don't need that. Okay, so another joker up for grabs there. So we're in the middle game. That could be a keeper for us. Let's just pull it back. Let's let the 2 dot go. We have all keepers now. So this would be an example of a player who has all keepers in the middle game. So if we make an exposure and discard any of these tiles, that would be telling for anybody who's paying attention, because at this point we have all keepers, all useful tiles. We can't use them all, but they're all useful. Okay, so now they are, if we use the 9 bam, we would use it probably for a concealed hand. We could maybe play 3, 6, 9 the first hand, but we'd have to throw away a 3 bam pair. I'd rather try to use it. I would let this go. The other thing is we would need to Kong, and that would dedicate a joker and lock it in. So I would just let that go. Okay, we're going to let this go. So nobody took the 8 crack.
5 crack. 2 crack.
Okay, now we have a 6 bam. All right, so we have 3, 6, 9, 3 dot pair, 6 dot single, 9 crack, none are out. We have to make a choice in here. Let's see, I'm thinking 3, part of me is wondering if we can do 3, 6 pair, 3, 6 pung pung, Kong 9 crack. Let's see here. 3, 6, 9. We could do 3, 6, 9 with 6s too, and let a 3 bam go. So I'm thinking we let the 3 crack go right now. Let's see. 3 crack, 3, 6. All right, let's let the 3 crack go. So now that means the 6s can go, and we're going to maybe play the third hand down. So like 3, 6 in dots, 9 crack Kong. Okay, so let's just see what happens. So that could be a pung for us. The 6 dot would be our weakness. The other thing we could do is let the 3 bam and 6 bam be our pairs. But the thing I'm wondering, let's see here. The 9 crack, we're not ready to Kong. I would let it go and let the bams be our pairs, because we still can't call anything for the 9. I'd rather leave the joker for the ability to pung the 6 while we still build our 9. And that way we're not putting ourselves at risk with our pair tiles. So the bams could be 3, 6, pair, 3 dot, 6 dot, pung pung, and then 9 cracks. So at this point, we can leverage jokers to help us complete our hand. So we're going to ignore. Okay, 8 dot we don't need. So now the player across from us is likely not playing like numbers, because they let the 8 crack go and they let the 8 dot go, but maybe they're just not ready. They could also be playing consecutive run, or maybe an even hand. There's the 9 crack. Okay, so now let's let the 9 bam go. That was already thrown. That's a pung for us. Okay, let's let the 9 crack go, or 9 bam. Okay, so we'll ignore. We're good there. So somebody got our joker. I don't know who. Oh, Agata on the left. Okay, we don't need 2 dot. We're at 55 tiles. We need to let these 6 cracks go now. Let's see if we can get a joker out of one. Okay, here we go. Let's see if anyone makes an exposure with a joker. No, that was a miss. Okay, so let's let it go. It looks like nobody's playing wins. Okay, we're still in the middle game. We have one more pick in the middle game. 1 crack and 5 crack. These are all going down. So these should be safe tiles. We don't want to hold a 5 band. One band can go. We don't need 4 dot. Okay. So they're doing 2 dot, 4 dot, 6 bam, 8 bam. So they're going to need jokers for the 6 bam. There are none out though. They might only need 1, but there are 2 dots out. So they're going to need 2 jokers minimum over there for a 2, 4, 6, 8 hand. We have 30 tiles remaining. So they got one of the jokers there. 8 bam is still available for exchange. We're going to call. So now we are 1 away from ready on a pure hand. At the moment, no 9 cracks are out. So we have 4 picks left. Now here's a red flag. Somebody made an exposure in the end game with 2 jokers. That is aggressive and also risky because those dots, they're not out yet. So they're risking losing 2 jokers in the end game with an exposure with only 4 picks remaining. So that is very risky. That would be a big red flag right there. So they have 1 joker over there. They need a 2 dot. There's a 9 dot. We'll exchange. Now we're ready to win. Ready to win on a 9 crack. Now the 9 cracks are not out. There are 3 9 bams out. We still don't know what this person over here on the left is playing. Okay, so they got 5, 7, 9. Come. But we got ready to win. So that's exciting. We have 2 8 dragon to our right. They have flowers they needed to let go of. And the player across from us needed help with their 2. Okay, so that was a big red flag. An exposure in the end game with jokers like that, very risky. Okay, next game. All right, now we have no multiples, so we need to look for the predominant pattern. We have, I'm thinking 4, 5, 6, 7, or 3, 4, 5, 6. Because we have no 2, I would not consider playing evens, but we do have some potential for evens. I would not pass like numbers. I think that's very risky, in my opinion. I would probably let one of the 8s go. Let's see here. If we end up getting a 2, which 8 would be the best one to let go of? Or you know what we could do is let the green dragon go and pass the 1 dot. So maybe pass that. And this way we could play 3, 4, 5, 6. Or if we get a 2, we could maybe play 2, 4, 6, 8. We got a 6 and a 4. Red dragon, 1 bam can go for sure. Red dragon can go. In mixed suits, the only dragon hand in evens would be 2, 8, and we have no 2. And in consecutive run, we have no flowers for a dragon hand. So I'd let it go. All right, now we have to let something go. At the moment, we have all keepers, except the 8s, I think, would be discards because we have no 2. Without a 2, we can't play 2, 4, 6, 8. So I would probably let the 8 bam go and focus on 3, 4, 5, 6 of some kind. And I wouldn't pick a hand. We're just going to gather. Okay, we got a 4. That's our first multiple. So we have lots of potential for 3, 4, 5, 6 or 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 1 discard. So now we have to let go of keepers. So with a 4 crack pair, we have 4, 5, 6, 7 dot. 4, 5 crack, 6, 7 dot. We could also do 3, 4 crack, 3, 4 dot, or 5, 3, 4, 5, 6 dot. So all the dots I think are helpful at the moment. So I would let the 4, 6 and bams go. That's a little bit risky, but we need to set ourselves up for success first. Okay, no keepers here. I would continue, and I probably would not pass like numbers, or not like numbers, 2 wins. So I would let something go here. Let's see here. 3, 4, 3, 4, 4, 5, 4, 5. 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think I would probably let something go. We just have to pick something. It's arbitrary at this point. Okay, now there's a 6. So we made a good choice. Here's red, west can go. We have a pair of 6 dots now. So this is where I would probably plan to use that 6 dot pair with a 4. So 3, 4, 5, 6 would probably be the hand to play. Let's see here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 4 dot, 4, 5, 6 dot. Okay, so let's let the 4 dot go, because we could still do 3, 4 crack, 5, 6 dot. If we get a 7 bam, we could play the 4th hand down, single pair pung, 3, 4, 5 in cracks, 6 dot, 7 bam, but that would be a gap. So we want to just, that would be a long shot at this point. Okay, now we have north, 3, 8, those can go. Okay, we didn't get any keepers. Let's see. We definitely can let the south go. The 6 dot can go, or 6 bam. And even, let's see, if we have 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, was there a 5 bam that was going around? Let's pass south to 6, because if we get a 5 bam, we could do 2, 3, 4 crack, 5 bam, 6 dot. So let's just see. I would pass 3. And it looks like everybody is passing fully. So no red flags, no red flags during the Charleston. And we have 4 discards and a couple of hands, really one hand with no gaps, 3, 4, 5, 6, second hand down on the right. But I wouldn't pick a hand. I would just gather all consecutive tiles around the 4 crack and the 6 dot. So we have 2 clear discards. We're just going to keep gathering. Okay, now there's another pair. Let's let the west go. 2 bam. That's in our range. 2, 3, 4, 5, or 3, 4, 5, 6. I think the 2 bam can go next. Nobody took the 3 dot, so that probably would be a good discard too. Okay, red is already out. Okay, we're still in the begin game. We don't want big numbers. We're good. Last pick in the begin game. Okay, now here is a flower. Let's see, we would need a 3 bam. 2 3 bams are out. We really don't need a flower in here with what we have. Let's see here. We have a 4 bam pair and a 6 dot pair. 2 3 4, 3 4, 4 5. I guess we could hold the flower for a little bit. Let's let this 3 dot go. It's already out. Okay, now we just ended the begin game. There are no exposures, so people are still developing their hand. So we're now going into the middle game. That's one of our potential wish list tiles. So I would totally give up on that 4th hand down with a 5 bam out. I would focus on the 2nd hand down on the right. 3 4 crack, 5 6 dot. We don't need wins. I think I would probably escalate that flower as a discard too. That would be pretty risky if you hold on to it too long. Okay, so nobody wanted the 2-bam. Let's discard this flower. Another 5-bam out. Okay, so there's the first exposure. 72 tiles remaining. We're still in the middle game. 2 picks to the very middle of the middle game. Okay, now they have an 8-dot pair, so I would probably let the 9-dot go first. Then I would let the 7 crack go, because we don't know if they're playing a consecutive hand or an even hand, or maybe even like numbers. We'll let that go. Okay, now we do not want to hold white dragons. Those can be very risky if you hold on to them. Now that 3 crack, we can call for a pung. And it's the first one out. We still need to develop more. I would wait, I think, on that. If another 3 crack goes down, we'll call. We only need a pung, so I would let that go now. I don't think our hand is developed far enough to take it here. I'd rather give myself a little bit of breathing room in case things change. We're probably an underdog on this hand. So we need to consider the level of risk that we take. If you're an underdog, you want to take a low risk approach, which is what we're doing here. If our hand were more developed, we might play more assertively, but we need to be conservative here. So somebody got a joker. I don't know who, because it went super. Oh, what? See, I don't know. I have no idea who got the joker. Anyway, another player got a joker, and I don't know who. Okay, now 3-dot. Let's see. Let's let the 7 go. Okay, now we have a player. They probably are the ones who got the jokers. They have 2 jokers up for grabs now. 7 crack, both of those are up for grabs. So they took some risk. That would be a red flag. An exposure with a joker in the latter part. Well, we're in the middle of the game still. So their level of they're currently taking a high risk approach, which means that they probably have a well-developed hand to risk this kind of exposure. So we're likely going to fold. Okay, here's your joker exchange. Let's let the 2-bam go. All right, so we have a little bit of hope in here now. We have a pair of 4s we don't need. We need to probably let one of these go. We might be able to get a joker there. We're playing 3, 4, crack, 5, 6. We have 3 discards and joker bait. Okay, that would be a Kong for us, and I would take it now that we have that other joker. All right, now let's, at 53 tiles remaining, let's let the 4-bam go. Nobody wanted it, so we'll let that go next. Okay, 6 crack. There it is over here to the left. So they could be doing 5, 6 crack, 7-dot, 8-dot, 5, 6, 7, 8, 5 crack. We need to expedite this 5 crack. 5 crack, 6 crack, 7-dot, 8-dot. That's my guess. They could also be doing 6, 7, 8 mixed suit Kongs, but the 7 bams are out. So my guess is they're doing 5, 6 crack, 7-dot, 8. So we're going to let this 5 crack go next. Right now. They didn't take it. Maybe they're not ready. I could be wrong too. They could be playing something different. Okay, 3-dot is out. We need 3 crack, 5-dot. Okay, so let's let the 4, let's see here. What's not out? These are out. 2 crack is out. All these are out. So these should all be safe. We've got people with big numbers. 2-dot. Where's this 2-dot though? There are no 2 dots out. They could be playing a 2, 4, 6, 8 hand over there. There it is. 2, 4, 6, 8. I don't know what they were what is their winning tile. I don't know. So 2, 4, 6, 8 across from us. Okay, next game. We were an underdog big time on this one. Okay, now we have pair of flowers, pair of 5 crack. So that's where I would start, the 5 crack pair and a flower. So I'd probably hold the 5 bam, the 4, 5 crack, 5 bam. I don't think I would hold the 1. Let's see here. We do have a hand in here, 5, 7, 9. Mixed suit Kongs. This would be the 3rd hand down on the right under odds. No, this is the wrong 9 crack. Or the wrong 9. We need a 9 bam in there. 4, 5. Maybe we can hold the 7. We have an east and a west, but we have a pair of flowers. We have a 5 crack pair. So 5 crack pair with a pair of flowers, that's what we want to focus on, not the east-west. Even though the east-west looks pretty, it's not helpful. Let's let the 9 crack go. Okay, now we have the right 9 bam. 5 crack, 7 dot, 9 bam, 3rd hand down on the right. So we have a 4 bam over there. I'm thinking big odds. So I wouldn't pass like numbers. That would be very risky. We have 5, 7 crack. I'd probably let the 5 bam go with a 4 crack. The other thing we could potentially do is maybe let the 4 crack, let's see, no, the 4 bam go with a white dragon. Because that white dragon is going to be risky to hold on to. Maybe we offload it now in hopes of getting keepers. There's a keeper. We did get a 7 crack also. So now we have tiles we can pass. A little bit risky with a 4, 5. But we have a hand with no gaps. 5 crack, 7 dot, 9 bam. 2nd hand down on the right. Okay, no keepers here. So we're going to keep going. Everybody's going to keep going here. All right, now we have multiples in there. Let's do 1, 4, 9. That looks risky, but it's not. Okay, 7. Oh, we got a keeper. 5 crack. We have another hand in here that we could potentially play. 5, 7 crack, 7, 9 in bams. But we also have 5 crack, 7 dot, 9 bam. We have 1 discard. Let's see here. I would pass like numbers and play 5, 7, 9 mixed suit Kongs. We could maybe do 5, 7 crack, 7, 9 bam and let the 7 dot go with a flower. But I think we're better off to leverage the pair of flowers. Okay, no keepers here. So I would pass those. Okay, no keepers here either. We have tiles we can pass for sure. How about 9, 7, 4? That's probably better because someone could be playing 3, 6, 9. Okay, no keepers. We have 4 discards and a hand with no gaps. We're 1 away from set. So I'd say we're probably a contender because we're east. We have an extra tile. I think I would discard the 9. And I would say we're probably a front runner on this hand. We need 1 good pick for the 7 dot or the 9. We can Kong 2 of these because we have a joker. We just need a pair. So 2, 3 crack went down. I don't want to hold on to dragons. There's a dragon there with a joker. Okay, let's let the 3 crack go because nobody wanted that. We're good. Oh, flower. 5, 7, 9. We're going to stick with it. Be nice if we could get a green dragon. We're good. Okay, we need a keeper. Be nice if we can get, oh no, one crack. We can let that go. Oh darn, somebody got it. Wes got the joker. Darn it. Okay. So now that can go. There's a joker up for grabs now. Oh, and somebody else got it. Well, what about us? Where's the fairness? Oh, there we go. Now we get a joker exchange here. See if we can get a turn. We did. Joker exchange. Thank you. All right, now two crack. Let's see. 7 bam is out. 6 bam not out yet. Yeah, one of each of these is out. So I think we're doing pretty good. We can Kong all of these now. So we're set. Okay, so somebody called the 5 bam, so there are 2 jokers up for grabs. We're in the middle of the game now. Oh, we need to let these 4 or 5, the 2 4 go. Look at the player on our right. We need to let it go now. Oh my goodness. They must be playing a mixed suit option. Okay, we don't want to keep it 2. Okay, so what are they doing over there? 2 dot 4 dot, Pung Kong, 6 8 in cracks. No, we don't want to hold a 2. Oh, dragons. Oh, we don't want to hold flowers. So we have Pung Pung there. With dragons, they could be playing the 3rd hand down under winds, or they could be playing the year hand, but all the white dragons are out. So that means they're playing winds. They could also be playing a 3 6 9 hand, the 4th one down, 3 6 9 pairs with flowers. And they would need to have dots. Let's see, 6 dot, 3 dot, how many 3 dots? 2 6 dots, 2 9 dots, and 2 3 dots are out. They could be playing 3 6 9 with flowers. Let's see here. 6 3 6 6. Okay, well, let's see what happens. Oh, flower again. Okay, now how many flowers are we have 2, and then there's 1 2 3 4 5. 5 flowers are out. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. If they're playing that 3 6 9 hand, they're going to be hurting because they won't be able to get a pair of flowers. They could be playing north and south. North, south are out. There's only one east out. So my guess is they're playing east and west with dragons. Uh-oh. We're in the end game. I think we should play to win. Okay. That was a little bit risky there. Ah, north, south, 3 4 5. Okay, on the left, they are going to need help with their east. So north and south with 3 4 5. Shoot, look how nicely we were set up here. So they're playing 2 4 6 8 in dots and cracks on the right. All right, let's play again. Okay, now we have another widespread here. So we have West red 259 in BAMs, 578 in cracks, 3689 in. Oh, thank you, Karen. Thank you so much. I sent you a couple of emails, or I sent you an email this weekend. I don't know if you saw it. So let's try to touch base. I hope you're doing well. Okay, so let's see. We need to pick a predominant pattern here. Since we have no multiples, we need to go with the most of what we have. We only have one. Oh, you saw it, traveling. Okay, thank you, Karen. No pressure. Okay, let's see here. 259 in BAMs, 578. I think 5678 or 6789. Because we have only 1 6, I wouldn't focus on 369. I would say 5 6 7 8, 6 7 8 9, maybe big odds. So I would hold 5 through 9 and let the little numbers go. Maybe we'll let the 2 go and keep the 3. Okay, now 5 dot, 7 dot, still no multiples. We have 2 tiles to pass. Now we need to let something go. If we're playing 5 6 7 8, we can look for isolated tiles. And right now, really the most isolated tile we have is a 5 BAM. Let's see, 5 6 7 8 9. Let's let the 5 BAM go. Okay, there we have our first multiple. So I think the north can go. We have 5 through 9, no gaps with that run. We have 8 9. Let's see, 7 8 8 9 5 5 crack. We do have 5 7 7 9 in here. So let's let the 8 BAM or 8 crack go with a 9 BAM. Okay, now 5 dot paired up. We did get a 9 BAM, but we already let it go. I would focus on 5 through 9 in one suit and keep going. I would keep going. So I would probably let the 2 go with the 7 crack and focus on 5 through 9 in one suit. First hand under consecutive run. Okay, so there's an 8 9. Here's a 5 crack pair now. So there's another pair. Anytime you get a new pair built up, just kind of reassess. Let's see, we do have 4 5 4 5 5.6. No, this 4 is not really helpful. Okay, so let's see here. 5 through 9. No matter how we slice this up, it's going to be risky a little bit. I would just let that 5 go and focus on 5 through 9 in one suit. Okay, we got a west and a south. Let's see. So we have 7 8 9. I think we should just pass 3 here. Keep the west for a minute. Okay, so we have 8 9, 7 8 9. Lots of 7 8 9. We have 2 discards. West, pair west, not helpful without other wins. So we'll let it go. We'll just keep all 5 through 9 and see what develops. We can't really call much of anything. If a 6 dot or an 8 dot go down, we could maybe pung because we do have a hand with no gaps, the first hand under consecutive run, but it's pretty weak at the moment. We have lots of 5 through 9 in here. No red flags yet. Okay, 7 BAM. It was just thrown, but at the moment we have all 5 through 9 in our hand. Now that 7 dot, we really don't want to use that right now. The only thing we could do there is pung with our joker, but we wouldn't know even what hand we're playing. I mean, we could do 7 8 7 8, but we'd have to throw away 2 pair. So I would just let this go. There's the second 7 dot. So we need to consider options here. Maybe we could still focus on 5 through 9 and look for joker potential. Okay, there's 2 7 bams out, so let's let that go. So to the left of the joker are all keepers. So right now we have 4 discards. So they're playing 1, 2, 3, 4, pung kong, bams and dots. That could be a pung for us. We're playing a hand with no gaps, so I would call. Now let's see what's out. 5, 8, 8, 8 bam. So now that can go next. 1 dot. Let's hold the 9 first. If the 6 dot goes down, we can call. Be really nice to get that 1 bam for a joker exchange. There it is. So we just got that. Let's throw the 1 dot. Okay, so there's 2 7 dots are out. There's 1 more. So if a 7 dot goes down, we can Kong, and then we just need to wait for a little help with our 6 dot. Oh, we don't want to hold that 2 bam. They're playing 1, 2, 3, 4. So now they're going to need a joker for that 1, 2 bam. We're good there. Okay, 9 dot. The only way we can really do a pung with a 9 would be if we switch to 6, 7 dot, 8, 9, pung kong. And either way, we might actually be closer to that. Let's just see what happens. We could switch to the second hand down on the right, 6, 7, 8, 9, pung kong. I'm sorry, second hand down on the left, 1 suit. Okay. Oh, see now here, this shows risk. They're taking a high risk here with 2 jokers. Actually, it's not a high risk. It is risky, but not super high because there's 1 out. So really, they're only risking 1 joker. So that's not too big of a red flag, really. Okay, we don't need that at all. Okay, so we're in between the first hand on the right under a consecutive run or the second hand down on the left. Oh yeah, we don't need that at all. Oh, no, no. Okay, a flower in the end game. We're right now in the end game. Someone threw a flower. Who just threw that? Agata just threw a 4 crack, so that means Joe Curtis threw a flower. Oh, nobody wanted it, so it should be okay. We're in the end game. Huh. Okay, 5 bam with a 6 bam Kong. So let's see. My guess is they're doing 3, 4 dot. No. 4 dot is over here. 3, 4. 3, 4 bam is out. 3, 4 crack is out. So maybe they're doing 5, 6, 7, 8. Maybe they're doing 7, 8 in dots. I don't see, we have the 7 dot. 7 dot. I don't see any 8 dots out. So that would be my guess across from us. 5, 6, 7, 8 dot. They may have the 7 dot. Green dragon. This is a fresh tile. That's going to be really risky. The player on our left may be playing a dragon hand. News dragon hand. How many wests are out? 1, 2, 3. Let's see. How many norths are out? 3. They can't be playing the news dragon hand because all the norths are out. With a Kong of dragons like that, I don't think they're going to need this. Oh, you know what they could be doing is 2-8 dragon. 2-8 dragon, 2-8 in cracks. I don't see any 8 cracks out. So that green dragon is going to be very risky to discard right now. We only have 4 more, let's see, 5 more picks. Let's throw the 7 crack. I'm kind of thinking they're playing 2-8 in cracks. We got the 7. We have 1 risky tile. Oh, this is kind of what I'm wondering. Let's see if we see a pung here. We didn't. Let's throw the dragon. Okay, so I figured we were okay because they didn't take the 8 crack. Let's see here. Let's throw the 6. Oh my goodness. So someone just threw a joker. So I think somebody, Agatha threw the 2 bam. That means Joe Curtis threw a joker. So my guess is they folded. So that would be a red flag. So I think Joe Curtis folded with a 5-6 pung Kong. That would be an indicator that they folded. So now the player on the right needs a 3 dot. 1, 2 bam, 3 dot, 4 dot. I don't see any 3 dots out. That's a pung for us. Oh, I was focused on my own hand. I threw into the 2-8 dragon hand. I knew that's what they were playing. Okay, so they were ready to win on the right. They fold across from us. They broke their hand, and we were ready to win too. I played a win. I'm not embarrassed to say that. Okay, anyhow, let's see. So we have 1 dot pair with a 7 crack pair. We won't be able to use both of those unless we play the concealed hand. Concealed odd hand, we wouldn't need a 7 crack pair though. 6, 7, 5 through 8, 1, 2, 3. I think 1, 2, 3 looks better than 5, 6, 7. Let's see here. Oh, let's see. 1, 3, 5 we have in here too. 1, 3, 5 or 1, 2, 3. So let's break these up. So we're doing little numbers. That's a little bit risky right there. There's a pair of 1s in there for us. Let's see, we could probably make that better and let a 5 go. Although we do have some 1, 3, 5 in here, or like numbers with 1s. 3, 4. 1, 2, 1 dot, 5 crack. All right. Okay, 2 bam. 1, 2, 3, 7, 8. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, no gaps. 1 crack, 2 crack, 3 bam, 4 bam. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or we could do like numbers with 1s. We could do 1 dot, 1 crack, 1 bam. So let's let the 2 bam go. Okay, we've got tiles we can pass. All right, we got 5s back right there. East can go. All right, now let's see. I'm thinking 1, 2, what do we have here? Okay, Evelyn, are you saying goodbye? See you later. Thanks for coming. Okay, so we need to let some things go here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, no gaps. 1 crack, 2 crack, 3, 4, no gaps. Or like numbers with ones. So I think we should let a 5 go. And I think I'd rather play like numbers with ones than 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now there's a 2. Let's see. All right, now we have a 5-band pair. So 1 crack, like numbers with ones, 1, 3, 5 of some kind. Okay, I'm sorry, I was confused by your note there. Okay, let's see. 1, 2. We have 1, 3, 5 in here. So I think I would risk passing the south. We have like numbers with ones or little odds in here. I would focus on ones and little odds. Okay, so we have 3 tiles to pass. Oh, we got a 4. So we have 1, 3, 4, 5. We're going to be an underdog on this. Okay, whoa, there's a joker exchange opportunity for us. That's an early commit red flag with 2 jokers. That's super risky. And I would take one of those jokers. Thank you. All right, now let's see. Let's let the 9 crack go. So we have 1 dot pair, 1 crack pair, 1, 3, 5 of some kind, 3, 4, 5. We're going to gather. I wouldn't take it. There's a 4 bam now. Let's let the 8 crack go. Okay, we can let that go. We're good. Even though that would be a nice tile for us. Okay, so there's a 3, 4, 5, 6. We're kind of going up the chain here. The player across from us is playing 6 crack, 7 crack, Kong, 8 bam, 9 bam, Kong. 6, 7, 8, 9 pung Kong. We're not taking that. We don't have the right 3. Okay, we got an 8 dot. That's really not helpful. We have a 4, 5 in bams. So an 8 dot pair is not helpful. All right, now there's a 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. No gaps. 1, 2 dot, 3, 4 bam. Pung Kong, Pung Kong. We'll see. 3 bam. Now we have a 3, 4, 5. So let's see. Let's let the 6 dot go. I wouldn't commit to anything yet. Green dragon. No. We don't have flowers. We don't need 9.
Stop.
We're still gathering,
Stop.
and it's the middle of the game. Okay, 1 bam. Kind of what I'm thinking is we use this joker as a 2 bam and play a gap hand. It's a little bit risky. Okay, so 1 dot, 1 crack, 1 dot. Let's let that go. So somebody got the joker. Darn it. So these are discards now. 1 through 5, we're playing a gap hand. 2 bam is what we need. Okay, now 9 bam is what they're looking for across from us. Now they're going to need 2 jokers because there are 2 9 bams out. Now we get the flower. How many flowers are out? None. We do have some potential for 3, 4, 5 Kongs. So let's keep the flower now. There are 4 flowers out in a Kong, and we have 1. We would need a pair for 3, 4, 5 one-suit Kongs, 5th hand down on the left. We don't need that for sure. Okay, we don't need a really this flower. We're going into the end game in 2 picks. 1 pick, really? So we probably should let that go. Well, if we get a flower, we're probably closer to 3, 4, 5 Kongs. Let's see if we draw a flower on this next pick, we'll keep it. We didn't get a flower. The player on our left, we don't know what they're doing yet. Let's let it go. So now there are 6 flowers out. 6 flowers out? Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. And that's very helpful. Let's see how many 6 BAMs are out. We can switch to 3, 4, 5, 6 Pung Kong now and not be playing a gap hand. Joker. Okay, so 3, 4, 5, 6 Pung Kong, no gaps. We'll see. There's only 1, 2 BAM out. 30 tiles left. Okay, there's a 3 BAM. We're good. I would say 1, 2, 3, 4 gap hand because we have everything we need for that hand now. Four crack is out. If we have 6 picks left and 2 discards. Oh, let's call it for a pun. So now we'll let the 6 BAM go. That's our pair. Oh, somebody won. We got 1 away on that one. Boy, that one was hard. Okay, we're gonna play 1 more game. All right, they got jokers. Okay, now another challenging hand here. We have a 4 BAM pair with a pung of 9s. Can't use 4 BAM with a pung of 9s, but that pung of 9s is pretty strong. So we're going to see if we can gather tiles to use with the 9 BAM. All right, with a 9 BAM pung, we really don't need a 1-3. I'm thinking something consecutive or maybe big odds. Maybe we could do something with wins. Let's just see what comes in. 5 crack pair now. So let's see. We could let the 3 go with a 4 and a wind. News concealed. We would need east and south, and those would be gaps for us. I would rather focus. Well, now we got a south. Here's a 6 though. So there's 5, 6, 7, 9. We have 2 tiles to pass. I would focus on number tiles. So I'd let the wind go. Okay, let's see. Here's a 5. I would keep that. Let's see. 4, 5, 6. We're going to keep going. Okay, 5 BAM. North 1 can go. All right, now we have to let something go. Let's let the 6 go. We're playing probably big odds of some kind here. Let's see. There's a 7. 5, 7, 9 of some kind. And we can pass across. Okay, now red flag on the play. 2. Agata is passing 2. So they're passing 1. They're negotiating low. That would be a red flag for Agata. So we're going to watch Agata and see if they make an exposure in the begin game. Okay, we got a keeper there. 7 crack. So we're playing some kind of an odd hand, big odds, and I wouldn't pick a hand yet. We'll see. We don't have enough to really make a choice yet. We could maybe play 5-7-9 Mixed Kong's third hand down on the right now that we have a flower. No. Okay, now that's interesting. We could maybe play the concealed hand now that we have the one crack. 1-3-5 in cracks, 5-7-9 in bams. Flowers are going down. Okay. Good. Winds are going down. Konga winds out. We're good there. Okay, let's see. So here's 5-9 now. Let's see. 5-7, 5-7-9. I really don't think that's helpful without any other nines. I think we should focus still on big odds. Let's see here. Let's let the dots go. We'll ignore. I'm thinking the concealed hand is what we're closest to. That's a single tile for us. There's a 3 dot though. Let's keep it. We do have 6, 7, 8, 9. Here's a 6. So this hand just seems to be trending to consecutive run. We have 5-9 in here. I wouldn't, well, we can't call that. 7 bam. So we have 5-9, 7, 8, 9. I would let go of the 1. I'd switch to consecutive tiles. I guess we could play 5-7-7-9 pung kong pung kong. Let's let the 6 crack go. We could do 5-7 crack, 7 bam, 9 bam. Either way, we don't need the flower. Okay, so I'm thinking 5-7-9. So 8 bam was just thrown. So that would be a Kong for us, and we're not ready. We'll need a joker there. We're good. Okay, so let's see. That's already out. We're good there. No exposures. Oh, there's a joker. Okay, now we can use these jokers for the 7 crack now. We're 1 away from ready. Still no exposures. Okay, now here we're going to call for a Kong. This will be an indicator. If I were watching me as an opponent and I make an exposure here, we're just now going into the end game. This would be a red flag. We're going to Kong because we're playing to win. So we're ready to win on a 9 bam. There's no 9 bams out. So that's Mahjong. Finally, we got one in. Mahjong. Woohoo! We got one in on this live stream. I'm so happy. It's always nice to win at least once. Oh, wow. Somebody was 1 away from winning on the left. North and south with dragons. Agata, north and south with dragons. And then we have consecutive run across from us. Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4 pung kong. On the right, 2, 3 year hand, I think. Over there, first year hand, they have 1 discard. So we had 2 players right on our tail. All right, I think that's going to do it for this live stream. I hope you enjoyed it and that you think about red flags while you're playing. As a beginner and intermediate player, noticing these red flags that we talked about today would be very helpful in when you're gathering intel to help you decide whether or not you're going to continue developing your hand to play to win, or whether you're going to fold and try for a draw. Keeping your eye on those red flags can help you with that decision making, as one example. Thank you so much for being here. Moderators, thank you for helping monitor the chat. And if you're just watching the video, thank you so much for watching my videos. If you haven't subscribed yet, consider subscribing. Make sure you click the little gray bell if you do. That way you'll get notification for when I post new videos, and you won't miss an opportunity to learn a new strategy or pick up an insight to the game that could give you an advantage at the table. Between now and the next video, may all your picks be keepers.